Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards Answers, our Friday discussion episode for our Khyber Shards series, a 5th edition actual play set in the Eberron campaign world. This week is another Khyber Shards NPC Q&A, where our listeners were invited to submit questions directly to the many NPCs of the Khyber Shards campaign and have them answered in question. So we got a few, not as many as last time. Maybe once a month is a little too frequent to do this, and so we'll play around with that and see. But in the meantime, we got a fair number of questions for the delightful group of NPCs that are that make up the supporting cast of Khyber Shards. And we're going to go ahead and dive in to some of those questions. So we have a set of questions from Mia. Mia asks, Mrs. Brightdoom, how would you feel about Donabella attending a school with other aberrants? I imagine that you'd like the training aspect of it, but would you feel comfortable with her diving more fully into that aspect of her personality? I don't know exactly how comfortable I would feel. I understand that there is benefit in her learning to use her mark in a more controlled manner, although I might prefer that she learn not to, you know? I don't want this to be the thing that defines her life. I know that not all folk with an aberrant mark are monsters. I know all of these things. But the way the world is, if she becomes known to be this, if it becomes known that she has an aberrant mark, I fear that it will become the only thing about her that matters to the world. And I want her to be able to choose who she is and what she shows to the world. I suppose I wouldn't oppose her attending a school with other aberrants, but it sounds as though you're talking about a school for aberrants. And I don't know. I want her to be safe, and I want her to be happy, and I want her to be in control of what she becomes in life. So if that could be done at such a place, I would consider it. I would need to know a lot more about it. Mia also asks a question for Jaler Alorenthi. Do you worry about being at the mercy of a group of people, Esri in particular, who don't seem to understand what you have to offer? Have you ever had a similar situation in the past? Are you worried you might have to kiss up in order to keep from being locked in a closet? I have lived a very long time, and in my many years, I have encountered disrespect, of course, and neglect, no doubt. The place where I was buried was not meant to be a place for me to be buried. It was ruined and destroyed but I would have to I can only guess, in some sort of war. I believe an attack by the Kulsir giants. And young elves are sometimes dismissive of their elders, but not when trained properly. Do I worry? Yes, of course I worry. I worry that I have woken up in an inglorious age that scorns the past and scorns the knowledge gained through hard experience of long lives. I will not kiss up to anyone to convince them of my usefulness. That is not what I will do. That is not how this is done. And if I am to be tossed back in a closet, then so be it. I shall wait until their treehouse has rotted and fallen over, and I am found by some future generation, and will hope that they know and recognize what I am, and can treat me in the way that I ought to be treated, with a certain modicum of respect and dignity. I will not debase myself for my own protection. If I have awakened among such barbarity that my housing will be destroyed because I refuse to make obeisance to some rapscallion, then perhaps it is better to go on to the inevitable dissolution of dollar than to continue to live in such a time. And lastly, Mia's question for Carl. Carl, we miss you. How's the inn doing? You were having some employee issues a while back. Have they been sorted out? Well, after the thieving stopped, it got a lot easier to maintain profitability, and I've been able to hire back most of the staff. Some of them found other work, so, good for them. It's a hard business to work in, and so, I don't begrudge them finding another place. And having patrons like the Swords of Khan makes a lot of difference in your survivability as a business, but you still have to make profit, So, most of the employment issues have been sorted out. We're fully staffed up. The inn's doing all right. I had to get past the reputation of there being a thief in the inn, and that made it really, really hard to attract business for a little while. But it is what it is. Then have a question from Laura for Cal. Do you enjoy living in the treehouse? Oh yes, in many ways it's ideal. It's up in a tree, of course, which I enjoy. But also there are lovely, comfortable things inside. This sofa thing that they refer to, my bed, as you probably know. I've never had such a thing. It's really quite delightful. I've heard of such a thing. I'd seen such things, of course, in the Feywild, but really it's beyond comfortable. So yes, I have enjoyed the treehouse a great deal. But of course I need to look after Shade, and I'm interested in knowing where her story goes. And if that involves following her to a different resting place, then I'll, with some regret, bid farewell to the sofa and follow her there. Eric asks, Kolos, how does it feel to not have Fury's Edge? Does it make you think any less of Pog that he would not defend it and allow you to win it back? Well, those are two very different questions. And Do I think less of Pog? No, he won it fairly. He doesn't owe me a chance to win it back. I was overconfident when I bet it in the first place. Ought to have let well enough alone. Bet some money or something like that. Boy, you really don't see the consequences of things coming until they hit you, do you? Not having the axe, it's a blow. I've borne it a long time, ever since, well, a long time. As you can see, it's become somewhat synonymous with me. And Pog carrying it around naturally lends itself to this notion that I was defeated in some kind of combat. And I say, he won it. That's fine, but I regret things, you know, and things have not gone particularly well since losing it. Opening day obviously didn't go the way I would have liked it to go. I'm probably going to have to adjust the way the stable operates for this season. I'm going to have to put Nardley up front, I think, and not myself. Step back, handle management. But it's going to take a while to build my reputation back up as a fighter. My reputation as a stable master is secure. People know me, that I'm a fair dealer, and that I gave Fury's Edge to Pog, to some people, speaks well in that sense, so it isn't all bad, but being beaten by an amateur and then, well, humiliated by him again in the actual fight. It doesn't help your reputation as a fighter. So, I'm going to try to make the best hay I can of it. There's some publicity to be gained in me stepping back, let people wonder whether I'm finished and set up for some kind of comeback in the future, hopefully. In the meantime, Nardley's performance on opening day was, for someone who didn't win, she definitely won, you know. The publicity of that stunt she pulled, that was just astonishing. And Lochnitu as well, cutting down the mast. There's fierce debate in the fans as to whether that was cheap or brilliant. And from my perspective, because I'm gladiator, but I am a businessman. I was following the Carl there for a minute. I'm a gladiator, but I am a businessman. And that kind of controversy, that kind of argument it's all profit, my friends. The fans get upset, the fans get upset with each other. They're going to come, they're going to watch, they're going to argue. So, if I can keep Lochnitu on as a permanent member of the stable, I will. If I can get him to come back for more shows, it'll be good. It'll bring in more money. So, for me personally, it's a blow. Opening day was a blow. For the stable, my defeat, coupled with Lochnitu and Nardley's performance on the opening day, and Pog handled himself well. He'd have been a standout if it weren't for those two. And he handled himself extremely well in the aftermath and the crazy fight after. That helped a little, to be honest. I don't know who did it. It was terrible, but, well, I'm pretty sure I know who did it. But terrible as it was, it helped distract. So, I don't know what to say. It feels bad. I'm not happy about it, but well, you don't make it this far as a gladiator if every disappointment and every failure puts you on your knees. You get hit, you get back up. I've been hit. I'm working on a way of getting back up. So, you don't have to worry about me. I'll be around. And that's all our questions for today. Thank you so much for those who submitted questions. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, if you'd like to see us do other things besides these Q&As with these Friday episodes, let us know suggestions in the comments. We're always looking for ways to craft our content in ways that the audience will enjoy and find interesting. So if there are any other interesting things you'd think any other interesting things you think would be interesting, that's impressive phrasing, isn't it? If there are any other things you think would be interesting to see on Fridays, please let us know. In the meantime, next week we'll have another player Q&A, so you can submit questions for next Friday's KSA on our Discord. We usually announce who the next Q&A is the night of the release. It'll certainly be Colin or Casey because they're the two that we haven't done this round. So you can submit questions over on our Discord or in comments here. And if ever you submit questions for someone who's not the person on the next KSA, that's fine. We'll save them and ask them the next time that person comes around. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have enjoyed this at all, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share us with your friends, give us a comment down there below. You can find all the links to our social media in the description, including the link to our Discord where you can submit such questions. Until next time, this has been Khyber Shards, and thanks for rolling with us.